Before I dive into this project, I wanted to give a short introduction on the overall summary of the project itself. One thing I felt that the 69 through 70 coupes always lacked was a duckbill spoiler to look great. Yes, Ford did make the Shelby extensions for the 69 through 70 coupes, or I believe there are aftermarket extensions, but in my personal opinion, it doesn't look too sporty. It sits a bit too straight up. I kind of wanted that aggressive angle. So unfortunately, there was no other options until now. Floating around the web, I've seen guys put Camaro spoilers or Camaro duckbill spoilers on their 69 through 70 coupes. And I thought, hey, it looks pretty good. It looks great. I did a bunch of research, found a few pictures and asked a few guys, and I came up with a solution to that. Now, the 69 Camaro, that spoiler is a bit too wide. Their rear ends are actually wider than the 67 through 68 Camaros. So unfortunately, the 69 Camaro spoilers would not fit. Instead, I decided to purchase a 67 through 68 Camaro spoiler. And based on my calculations and dimensions, it was a very, very close fit. And it actually fits extremely well. I have it here and I'm gonna show you guys the results. It's pretty windy out, so I apologize if there's any sound quality issues. Now, this is the fit. Unfortunately, one of the bolts is extremely close to the end on both sides. But other than that, I gotta say, it really looks like it'll fit pretty well. Now, this is actually reversed. This is actually supposed to be pointing towards the front of the car, and this, of course, the rear. But when I flipped it, I felt that it actually fit the rear deck lid extremely well, especially once closed. I'm hoping that when it does close, it'll also cover up this area, which will make it look like a flush one-piece spoiler, yet covering both ends, which would be a pretty awesome look. So what I'm gonna do now is I am going to drill a few holes to test fit and see how well it comes out. I'll just take my permanent marker and just pretty much circle each hole over here. I'm sorry, whoops. But I'm pretty sure you got the idea. At this point, I need to use both hands, so I'll cut the video, but I'll make circles around each point and then go from there. All the markings for each hole ready. I'm gonna just drill it out now. The holes are drilled and the spoiler is test fit. As expected, I ran into my first fitness issue, which are these corners over here. Fortunately, it won't fit flush until these edges are taken care of. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna measure, I'm gonna use my Dremel, I'm gonna cut a little bit at a time until I get a proper fit. And then it'll be on to the next part. I use my permanent marker and I kind of drew a rough draft of the area that needs to be dealt with. So let's see how this comes out after the Dremel is used. This second test fit, I noticed that this area is definitely gonna need more cutting. And also, it may touch this area in the back over here, this little corner here. So I'm definitely about to do more cutting and see where we're gonna be at. It's best to do a little cutting at a time instead of cutting off way too much and having to order another spoiler. So stand by. Again, I use my permanent marker and mark the areas that need to be dealt with. after a little bit more cutting and shaping, this is the fit that I'm satisfied with. I try to get as close as I can to the trunk. To be honest, this is as close as possible as you could get to the trunk with the spoiler. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of a gap in this area. As you can see. But other than that, it fits fairly well. What I'm gonna do next is smooth this area up before I paint it, just so that it can look neat. But yeah, the main issue when it comes to fitting is this corner over here are these edges. Once you could get these edges clear of the curve over here, it'll fit right up. There is a little gap in this area though, and unfortunately this is the closest I could get to it, because as you can see, the edges are flush. There is a bit of a gap in this area, but in my personal opinion, I really honestly don't mind that. And you're really not gonna see it, especially when the trunk is closed. Hopefully you found this video informative. Hopefully you could make it fit even better than I did. But as you can see, this is my results. And again, I'm personally happy for it. For less than, I believe the spoiler was less than 100, but over 100 when you calculate taxes and whatnot. I'll post a link below in the description. So maybe you could pick one up yourself and hopefully it works for you. Who knows? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next update.